Hi, I'm Tracey L. Fisher. Welcome to a reentry point of view. And we here with our great friend, Beth Grossman.
Thank you very much for having me. And to let everyone know, my name is Beth Grossman, and I am the lone Republican candidate running for District Attorney of Philadelphia, and I am very happy to be here. Wow. So that being said, I am a fourth generation Philadelphian. My great-grandparents, they lived in South Philadelphia, moved to Strawberry Mansion. Then grandparents moved to Oxford Circle, and parents moved to far northeast where I was born. My father had candy stores at Kensington and Allegheny and at Fifth and Olney, and my mom was a public school teacher in North Philadelphia and Juniata. So we have a lot of ties to Philadelphia. I served for 21 and a half years in the DA's office. I served in every division, including trial, juvenile, investigations, law division, and narcotics. So I have a full working knowledge of how the office works. And also, that experience has given me a great view as to what works in the office, what didn't or doesn't, and things that should be changed. I have to tell you, being, as I like to say, a baby DA who was hired in the 90s when the war on drugs was at its highest, right, and being in the DA's office until 2015, I could tell you that it failed. As you and I both know, it completely led to mass incarceration, a lot of disparate sentences, especially in federal court, where those were receiving higher sentences for dealing crack cocaine as opposed to those who were dealing cocaine. So it's a lot of things that need to be looked at and changed. And I think one thing that is clear is that incarceration does not work, and it leads to further recidivism, further crime, splits families, and it's almost time to look at things almost like the juvenile system, because the purpose of the juvenile system is more rehabilitative as opposed to retribution or punishment. And so I think working with people and seeing if this is someone who needs help or assistance or support of the community, whether it is drug treatment or mental health treatment, let's get them support they need and not send them into prison. Now, there's always going to be those folks who are dangerous to the community, to public safety. That's a different story. But those with drug addiction, prostitution, theft, things like that, what is going on, what's the root of the problem, and I think you're going to have far more success with the treatment element imposed and probation. And the other thing that I am in absolute support of are diversion programs, because I would rather have people go into diversion programs, learn skills, accomplish something, and then get out without having a mark on their record. I think that's a much better approach, and that's what studies say to decreasing recidivism. And then, because I would rather have people succeed on a diversion program and never return to the system again. Absolutely. I think that is one of the most important things. The other thing, looking back on my time in the DA's office, is that I think new DAs, and old DAs too, need to be trained when it comes to sentencing and what to request for those who are accused and convicted of crime, because many years training never included the piece that there's another human being across the aisle.
Absolutely.
It just was not part of my training. And I will admit, when I supervised, it was not. But looking back over time, look, we only grow by looking at ourselves. Right. And you can start change by cleaning up what is in your own house. And looking back, I think there needs to be almost a more social work aspect of looking at that person across the aisle. Right. Not a file, not a photo number. We'll advocate for victims. That is our role. But there's always, you have to look at those cases too, like what is best for this person. And it cannot be about statistics. It cannot be about, oh, we got our 11 and a half to 23 and a half months. There's so much more that goes beyond it. What is going to help and prevent this person from coming back? Right. And I think that's an absolute important thing. The other thing that I am interested in is actually with reentry, what you do. And I think it is absolutely phenomenal, because what you do is provide support. Absolutely. And you would always hear that story of people when they were cut loose out on State Road, they would be given their belongings and a token. And to me, if that's not the biggest recipe for failure, you tell me what is. Because all of us as human beings get frustrated when we don't have support, when we don't know how to do something, when we don't know where to go. And getting out of prison and having no net or support has got to be frightening. And what's it going to lead to? The same thing. So I would actually like to, I'm not sure how the DA's office can get involved in it, but I want the DA's office to play some role in reentry programs. And the other thing, as part of training for DAs, is that I want returning citizens to come and speak to new classes of young DAs. Because until you see a human being or have that human interaction, you could read studies, you could read abstracts, we could do training and do a PowerPoint, but I think when you have a human connection and they could hear stories from that person across the aisle in the courtroom, it's going to change things in all of us because we're all humans and we need to communicate. And I think it's a very important role that DAs need to look, because we are changing, we are becoming more progressive, and if we want to work with the court system, with the public defender, and I have to say Philadelphia has an amazing head of the Defender Association, that's what I want to do as DA. We have to change our thinking.
Right.
It's time. And I think there's a lot, and and the other thing is also to focus on youth. Kevin Bethel, who is a retired deputy commissioner, who is of the Philadelphia Police Department, is now doing amazing work up at Drexel, where he is actually diverting kids from getting arrested in schools. Because previously they've gotten rid of Philadelphia schools no tolerance policy, so kids would get arrested for having like mace if they just had it to walk home safely from school, or if there's a fight or something silly. And I think arrests in schools have dropped at least by 50%, and also behavioral problems have stopped. So you almost need kids and returning citizens are the same. They need support, whether it's pre-getting into the system or returning. And the other thing that I think and like what you do, is I think that returning folks are the best ambassadors to speak to young kids as to what their experience were. Don't do what I do. This is what I learned in prison, because only those who have lived it can speak it.
Absolutely.
I think it is such an important thing. Now, I would like to tell you why I'm running as a Republican.
Please do.
So what I must tell everybody is that I was a Democrat until 2013. And I am a Philadelphian, I am a taxpayer, and it was an honor and a privilege to be a public servant for so long. But when our public officials began getting investigated in 2013, and since that time to our most recent, which actually, and I'm not making light of, which actually breaks my heart, our federal indictment of our current district attorney and judges and state reps and our congressman and our attorney general, listen, they're all Democrats. And to me, there is a political imbalance in the city, because we have a very strong Democratic political machine. And I am not saying that one party is more corrupt than another, because in 1951, when the Home Rule Charter came into play, that was because there was 50 years of Republican corruption. But we are the here and the now. And I didn't like what I was seeing, because when you are a public servant, it is that simple. I serve you. You are my employer. And if you are not putting the public's needs and wants and money that is geared towards them, then you failed. You're not taking your oath seriously, and you're lining your pockets, and you're not doing what you're supposed to, and that gravely offended me. It's just something that went deep, and I just thought, you know what, we need a little bit of change. We need a little bit more balance. Just like some people feel like the criminal justice system is stacked against them, and we need more fairness. Well, we need more fairness and balance in Philadelphia, and we need to hold our public officials to a high standard. And I welcome that. And listen, if I should be elected DA, then you know what? I have no problem prosecuting those individuals who violate their oath and break laws with regard to their jobs as public officials. It is not right. To be a public official, it's an honor and a privilege, and one that I loved for so long. And the other thing that is my passion is, for 8 years, I was chief of the Public Nuisance Task Force Unit, where we dealt with I went all over the city, attended hundreds and hundreds of community meetings, and met amazing folks throughout the city, and helped communities deal with public nuisances like drug houses, nuisance bars, speakeasies, brothels, abandoned lots that were littered, and really helped clean up neighborhoods. Because if you clean up a neighborhood and improve it, people begin to take ownership in their neighborhood. They begin to take pride in it, whether it is block to block, a commercial corridor. And I'm not talking about a Rudy Giuliani where we lock everybody up for broken windows. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about helping businesses that might not be doing such a good job get support. Commerce Department has so many resources for businesses, things like that. Or, the other thing that I really am very much against and would like to go after is we have out-of-state landlords who do not care about their properties and take advantage. And one property in a block can really ruin things for folks. It's not right. And there's a lot of interesting creative solutions that you can do to solve problems. For example, I know there was, and it sounds funny, but there was an elementary school, and guys would sit out in a little patch of land in front of it with trees and a bench, and guys would sit out all day smoking weed, and which is now just a citation, but people don't want that around the kids when they were outside. And you can't take a squad car out, and put it on there all day, and you can't, we're not going to lock these guys up for marijuana. So it's something simple like that, like time sprinklers. Nobody wants to get wet. You're not cramming up the criminal justice system,
right.
With another arrest. But it's a different environmental solution to a public nuisance where everybody wins in a way. So it's, but empowering communities, cleaning things up, making places a good place to live is very, very important, because everybody's entitled to a good quality of life and to increase public safety. And that's
right.
really, my mission of what I want to do. But getting to know the city, all the city blocks, and all the folks, block captains. There are so many people who are committed to their communities,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I love being a public servant, and that's why I would like to be the district attorney.
Mm-hmm.
So what I ask is, I know I'm a Republican. I'm proud to be one in Philadelphia. I am a Philadelphia Republican. I am looking for political change, and what I ask is, allow me the opportunity to earn your vote come November. It's sort of like a can of food. You can look at the label, but sometimes you got to turn it around and look at the ingredients. That's what I like to say, and that's what I'm asking for.
Exactly. And actually, you're our first Republican that's been on this show.
Well, I'm very grateful, and I'm very grateful to be included. It really means a great deal, and I want people to understand that I'm not holding water, for the National Party. My focus has always been Philadelphia. It is in my blood. I'm Philadelphia. I care about this city. I want it to be a good city that is safe, that is progressive, that embraces all, because we are the city of brotherly love, and I know we can do better, and you can only lead by example. And I want to inspire people to run, young people to get involved and run for office.
Well, we as returning citizens are formerly incarcerated, and we are doing a political cleansing.
Exactly.
This is what we're doing.
I know.
This is how we see it. If you've been in office for more than one term, right?
Yes, sir.
And you can't show any improvement
Yes.
from when you took office, then how can you sit in front of us and ask for a second term?
Absolutely. This is about accountability and transparency. As a matter of fact, years and years ago, when Arlen Specter, who was also a Republican, was district attorney, he would put out booklets of yearly reports of what the district attorney's office did.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a practice I want to give back
back
to the city, so you know what my office has done, what I have done, what our statistics has done, because it is accountability and it's transparency. And I agree with you, a political cleansing, because we have to prove our worth to you. You are the public. You are our residents.
Right.
This is not, I'm not using this as a stepping stone. I don't want to be mayor. I don't want to be governor. I want to be DA to improve this city for everybody. And, but it's not, you can't just use it as a way to enrich yourself. It can't, ego has to come out of it. Service has to come out of it.
Right.
And love for a job. And I commend what you and your block of folks are doing, because it is
Appreciate that.
important. It is absolutely, and everybody has a voice, who their public officials should be, and to hold them accountable.
Absolutely.
It's that simple.
Absolutely, because a lot of people write us off, but we're intelligent. We made some mistakes, like some of y'all, but some of them just didn't get caught. But then all of a sudden the light come on, and you go like, "Oh, what's this?" Right? But we are so dedicated, right? I'm telling you. Because we don't want our children's children to go through what we went through. And we can't have a rigged system.
No.
Where now this became business. Privatized prisons and all that. This became business. It's like a supermarket.
Mm-hmm.
You put a supermarket there, right? And if there's no food on the shelf, you got to shut the doors.
Absolutely.
So you got to keep it stocked for the people to keep coming in there, for the revenue to keep coming, correct?
Correct.
That's the same thing with the prisons. We trying to remove that stock. We trying to remove that inventory. I had a friend of mine, his name was Mel Stein, he's a Jew. Me and him was so close. And Mel Stein didn't want to be black and I ain't want to be a Jew. And we was so close. But Mel Stein taught me one thing. He said, let me tell you what will kill a business. Inventory. He said, because if you don't have control of it and you don't know where it's at, and you don't know what you need to be on them shelves, then it's going to fold. He said, that's the same thing with the prison system. Woke me up. He said, think about it. This is a warehouse that houses you. And you're traded on Wall Street like orange juice and diamonds and gold. He said, I'm talking about, when I tell you that a transformation is what you see today, took place with that conversation.
Well, let me tell you something. You're an inspiration,
Thank
and
you.
everybody can learn something from everybody else. You know, and none of us walk without sin.
Absolutely.
Period. Okay? And I agree, and everybody should have a voice. And you're right about the business of prisons. I think back up into, I think, Luzerne County with the Cash for Kids.
Yes.
What's that? To me, that is so stunning. And for those who don't know, this is where judges were actually sentencing juveniles to placement in these facilities where they were actually, I think, getting kickbacks
Yeah,
from.
they was getting
And
money
these
for that.
juveniles were actually in court with no attorneys. And frankly, look, I don't know what that DA's office was doing, but as a DA, if I saw a juvenile in court without an attorney, I'd be like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
what is going on here? So, no, I agree with that. So I would like to work to remove that inventory of the prison
Absolutely.
system and move on and
Absolutely.
open a more positive business.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it is. It's an inspiring thing, and it is. We need a change of thinking.
That's right. And
And-
see, when this is what I ask of you. You know, you become the DA, right? Just remember, gateway to reentry has laid the foundation to coexist. I like Animal Life, right? Animal
Yeah.
World, Wild Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I was watching it last night, documentary on lions and hyenas, right? Now, the lions and hyenas are enemies because they kill off each other cubs, because it's survival. You got to survive.
Of course.
They hate each other. Well, during this time, it was a drought. And the lions wasn't eating and the hyenas wasn't eating. And it got to the point where it was this big water buffalo, right? And they had the lions, it wasn't enough lions because they was weak. And they was trying to but the hyenas came on, right? And the lions didn't fight them for them to leave. And they joined in together and took down the water buffalo, right? But here's the beauty of it. They was able to eat and get their strength. They went back to hating each other.
Of course.
But at that moment, if an animal can come together and say, you know what? In order for us to survive, we got to coexist.
Absolutely.
And if an animal can teach you that, we're supposed to be the top of the food chain. If an animal can teach you that. So when I say this, I say Gateway to Reentry looks forward to working with the district attorney's office because we do prevention. So if someone comes to your office that really shouldn't be charged, then give them the program. And then we give you a monthly report. Then you can determine, okay, do we keep it like this or do we remove it?
I think that's phenomenal because a lot of times folks just need support. Folks just need a friendly face where they can talk to.
Absolutely.
And it's not that hard. And you know, I always say, listen, my dad passed when I was 12, but I had the best mother. God blessed me with an amazing mother. And I always say that if every child in Philadelphia had a mom like I have, we would be closed for business. But the fact that there are things like Gateway to Reentry where people can at least have a smiling face, a caring, somebody who has your back,
Absolutely.
that's going to do more than a stint on State Road. You know, I will always be, advocate for victims, always deal with those who are absolute threats to public safety. There's no doubt about it. We have our murders, our rapists, our pedophiles, things like that, gun violence, which we need to focus on. But those who have had a hard road to hoe, and it's other types of crimes, be it drugs with addiction, things like that, we got to take a different look because I saw the war on drugs and it
Absolutely.
didn't work. And
It
you gotta
affected
change-
me.
I know it did. And you know what? But look, and you're the inspiration.
Absolutely.
And it's just phenomenal. And I think that if you and the people from your program, as I said earlier, let them be ambassadors.
Yep.
Let them spread the word because only those
Absolutely.
who have walked it can talk it.
Yep.
But I think that would be a great resource for district attorney. And if I am elected district attorney, that's something I would be happy to do because I would love to close up shop.
So you don't have to worry about May.
I do not. I will, as I like to say, number one on the ballot, or wait, only one on the ballot. So I will make it through the May primary, and so I will be in the general election come November 7th. And as I said before, I just ask people to look at my website. It's Beth Grossman, the number 4da.com, and I'm on Facebook, Beth Grossman for District Attorney. And it's been a pleasure, and just give me a fair look. Take a look, see what I'm made of, and I ask for the opportunity to earn your vote come November. And really, thank you so much for including me, for inviting me and having me. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. I love her energy. And there you have it. I'm Tracey L. Fisher. This is a re-entry point of view. Thank you.